What happens when you pray at night? If you are watching this, do not scroll away, and before we go any further, subscribe right now, because what you are about to hear may change how you see your nights forever. What really happens when you pray at night? Many people think night is just for sleep, silence, or rest, but in Scripture, night is far more than that. It is a spiritual moment, when unseen things become active, when battles are decided, and when heaven often responds in ways we don't fully understand. Now here is something you may not know. In Psalm 119:62, David says, "At midnight I rise to give you thanks." Why midnight? Why not morning or afternoon? There is something about the night that carries depth, intensity, and spiritual sensitivity. And this is where it gets interesting, because in the Bible, some of the most powerful divine encounters happened at night. Jacob wrestled until daybreak. Paul and Silas prayed and sang hymns at midnight, and suddenly, there was an earthquake that broke prison doors open. That means night prayers are not ordinary prayers. But here is the question: what makes night prayer so powerful? Stay with me, because this is where many people miss it. At night, distractions are silent. The world slows down, and spiritually, it becomes a time of heightened focus. In Psalm 91:5, it says, "You shall not fear the terror of the night." This suggests that night is not just physically quiet, it is also spiritually active. And now imagine this: while most people are asleep, spiritually sensitive prayers are being released into that same atmosphere. In Job 33:15-16, the Bible even says God speaks in dreams and deep sleep, sealing instructions in the hearts of men. So what happens when you pray at night? First, your spirit becomes more alert. Night prayer sharpens spiritual awareness. You begin to sense direction, conviction, and clarity more deeply. Second, night prayer becomes a form of spiritual warfare. In Matthew 13:25, Jesus speaks about the enemy sowing weeds while men slept. This reveals that the night is not neutral, it is active, and prayer becomes a form of defense and authority. Third, night prayer invites divine encounters. Think about it. Samuel heard God's voice at night. Jacob saw heaven open after a night encounter. Paul received visions that changed entire missions. But here is what you must understand carefully. Night prayer is not about fear. It is about alignment. It is about positioning your spirit where heaven is already moving. Now let this sink in. What if the silence of your night is actually an invitation for God to speak louder than the noise of your day? What if the moment you usually sleep is the exact moment your breakthrough instruction is released? And this is why many believers intentionally pray at night. Not because God only hears at night, but because they become more available, more focused, and more spiritually awake. Now, if this message is opening your understanding, don't forget why you are here. Subscribe right now so you don't miss more powerful biblical truths like this. And tell me in the comments, have you ever experienced something unusual when you prayed at night? Like this video, share it with someone who needs spiritual strength, and again, subscribe, because what you discover next might change your walk with God forever.